Okay, here's the third arrangement. Awesome. So I thought this was a really good chance to display different repeating effects and how they can break down and chop up sound. So on the whole group, we've just got these three effects: an auto pan that kicks in at the end of the loop, chorus and ensemble that kicks in as well, just to give things a little bit more of a different movement, and air pusher, which is a preset for beat repeat, which kind of makes the sound feel like it's cutting in and out, like a cable's not quite in properly, or like a radio that's not tuned properly, and it's just a great way to end a section. Really good transition technique. And it's different every time. So truly lots of variation. And then the drums, if we just solo those. So that's the beat dry, which is just, pretty standard programmed beat. There's quite a lot going on, but nothing really that would affect the timing in the way that the beat repeat does. So without the pitch trails effect on, it's really just acting kind of like a slap delay, a millisecond delay. But then this pitch trails effect is just giving it kind of a really bizarre pitch shifting effect that I think together just sound great. And then before those, we've got this color limiter, which I don't think I've talked about yet. It's another Ableton 11 Suite plugin, and it just adds saturation and color to your signal, boosts the volume. Which is awesome. Again, distortion, shape, all these things. And that's the beat there. And then that's just going into an auto filter, so you can take out a lot of the top if you want. Get something more like that. Very cool. Love it. Right. So that's the beat. Bass has that note so low, this A08 sub, that I've had to add a little bit of redux and crusher to it. Obviously the crusher's quite extreme, but the redux just helps the top end pop out a little more against that beat. Yep, just subtle things like that helps brighten up the top end, and also it's being run through this bass guitar pedal, giving it some overdrive. Again, it's all about color. So here we have a bell sample that I've made that's going getting a signal from the arpeggiator. We've set this so that you can adjust the arp rate. And that's going through quite a long chain. Again, some more distortion. Auto pan. Some dust, which is a Redux plugin. Some more distortion, some more reverb, filter, and a final EQ, just cutting the low end out. But you know, without all of these distortion effects and things that can add colour to the sound, you can hear it dry. Awesome. Yeah, really love that. Really love that palette by the end. And you can dial those macros in to the amount you like. And finally, the same melody again. Same MIDI, same upright. But this time on a vocal sound. I think those two just sound amazing together. A really nice wall of sound. Awesome. So that's the third arrangement. Okay. Arrangement 4. And it loops. Okay, loads to go through here. Really love this. Might be my favourite arrangement. Loads of techniques to go through. Firstly, this percussion. The MIDI looks like this. I didn't want to just have another hi-hat pattern or, you know, a drum machine percussion pattern. I have all of these clap samples, hi-hat samples, Foley things that I've recorded from around my flat. And I loaded them all in and I just arranged them like an arpeggiator would. So just cycling through them. And it sounds so interesting. There's some panning and a little bit of buzz here, and all the low end, obviously quite a lot of low end build up on something like this because it's all found sound. But then I'm using the transient shaper in drum bus to kind of tighten up the sound like a transient shaper would, a plug-in version. So there's a lot more sustain here, and also shortcut, which is a gate helping out. Probably doing more of the work actually. And then, a little bit of auto pan and erosion, which are the things the macro controls. The erosion just helps glue all the sounds together. With some noise. Really cool. Really like that one. A different way of making a kind of percussion line. There's some additional percussion here, which is just audio. But same kind of thing. Both are being sent to the same reverb to keep them in the same sound world. And then we have this beat. So this beat's pretty simple because the percussion's so complicated, but you can pitch the snare. Which almost sounds like a kick when tuned all the way down. But because it's just an audio sample, you can hear the way the audio's breaking apart. Yeah, another huge part of this kind of weird sound world, kind of alternative, distorted palette is massive amounts of pitching audio. There's something about a sound breaking apart when it's really, really detuned that I think sounds incredible. I'm using erosion here in the same kind of way that real snares would function on a snare drum, the rattle that they make against the drum after you've struck it, that's what erosion here is doing, because without it, this is just a very dry sound. But with it, it helps fuzz up the tail, and the same way snares would when they rattle against the drum. Some EQ, some gated splash sim delay, which sounds like this. Kind of just really interesting effect. So yes, that's the whole beat. Pretty cool. The bass is a sample, again, from one of my synths. But the volume here, you can see spiking up and down. That's controlled with Shaper. You can see the envelope I've drawn in here, and then that's been assigned to the volume. Without it, it's just a long sample. And this can sometimes be cleaner, I find, than using a gate. Or, if there are already a lot of gates used, and I just want a really clean, simple shape to my my bass line, or anything really that doesn't have ADSR built in, because it isn't a synth, it's a sample. I mean, I know that Simpler does have some here, but it wasn't quite the shape that I wanted, and this is just much quicker. Some more distortion, overdrive, erosion again, saturation, a bit of an auto filter, and there you go. Really good one. The noise can be increased here. The pulse is like a tremolo effect, and shape is just the amount of the shape plugin that's being sent to the volume. Some digital bells. So this is Resonator. Controlled using an arpeggiator with an adjustable arc rate and transposition. And then this broken tube plugin, which is just again a different type of distortion that I think works really well with this sound. I've kept all the low end in as well because it has a real weight to it that I really like. And then finally, a really long chain on these vocals, which are playing the same melody, but we'll go through it. So again, adjustable arc rate, some echo, chorus, and glitcher. So unlike the previous channel, where the steps here controlled the amount of octaves included in that sequence every time it loops, here I've used a randomizer, which does the same thing, except 23% of the time it will, so not truly random, but 23% of the time it will play the octave above. It can also be set to play the octave below, but there we go, we can see it. So it's not exactly the same every time. There's some reliability to it, but you can, turn it all the way up to 100 and then it'll just be chaos. But yeah, an interesting way of just adding some different texture in a slightly more unexpected way. It's going through this effects chain: phaser, flanger, reverbs, echoes, limiter, more echoes, some beat repeat, some chorus, and eventually some sidechain to keep it all in check. But absolutely loads happening there to give it that sound. Glitcher is especially powerful here. You can see that working here. Again, variation all the way up so that it's never quite the same. And a really nice analog sounding echo here as well if you wanted to just use it on its own. And some chorus, why not? Yeah, really nice. And of course, all of this collapses down. So that all you have to really look at is the macros. So it keeps your chain really clean, really easy to use, especially if you wanted to just assign these to a MIDI controller, for example, for live performance. And also, this is, I think, a really, I don't know if I've said this already, a really great example of why these interactive sessions work so well, I think. The ability to get in and control, say, the ARP rate, something you wouldn't be able to do if it was just a WAV that we'd exported. That extra layer of control and interactivity, I think, is really crucial with sample packs these days. The amount of times that I've found a sample that I really love and I just wish I could tweak one thing, but of course you can't if it's just an audio recording. I think this really helps.